I am Grace. Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is for you in the world. We are going to be doing a yin asana practice today with a focus on presence, moving in the present moment. And so I invite you to gently and kindly close your eyes and bring your awareness into the inner being, into that inner aliveness. Take this time to move into Pratyahara. So we withdraw our attention from the external world. And that can also be all the things we need to do in the external world today, all the concerns and worries, even the things we're very excited about that may take our attention away from this now moment. So we just let that all go and we invite ourselves to be here now with our own self, deep inside. So dive in. You may feel the heartbeat, may feel some tingling. Taking a moment to notice where your body's connected to the earth and really acknowledge that sense of support, that grounding. Hold your body. Here now in this place and time. Diving in and just noticing what it's like to be you inside. Just taking a moment for that. Bringing your attention inward to the self. Invite you to even take a moment to send yourself love. Send your heart love, your inner being love. The authentic deep you that you know better than anybody. Send that self-love. Acknowledging yourself for being here on the mat today as an act of self-love. Some time to be with just you. Then I invite you to set an intention for yourself. It could be anything that you'd like to create in the world. Set it as a seed into the consciousness. And coming back into the self. Gently opening the eyes. Move into some gentle warm-ups. This is a yin asana practice, so let's begin. Nice, gentle neck rolls. So yin asana practice, we're going to be moving a little bit slower, and we'll be holding the poses a little bit longer. And it is a more restorative practice. It's not as much effort as it is restore. We will be stretching and moving the body in poses. And sometimes the yin asana is more powerful. Allowing the body to hold the postures a little longer is a little more, that's more benefit than you can get, different benefits than when you're in a more effort-based practice. Let's go the other direction. And anytime you'd like to get out of a posture sooner, please move into a resting pose, seated pose. can move into your Savasana relaxation pose. And anytime you feel any type of experience of pain, I don't know if I invited you to go the other direction, but if not, let's go the other direction. Anytime you're in any type of pain, always back off. Yoga is not meant to have an experience of pain. We stay in the feel so good zone, and we like to stay in our edge. Coming back to center. So like a rubber band, we don't want to stretch it out and be snapping muscles. We don't want to be real loosey-goosey. We want to, be on that edge, maybe a 7 out of a 10. We don't want to be a 3 or a 10 and snap a muscle, but we want to be kind of a 7 and have a little tension on that rubber band. So just inviting you to play your edge this morning. Need that cushion right now, maybe for our pranayama after this. So let's move into some pelvic grinds, just circling around and taking your time in this, noticing the sensations as you move in your body. And there may be a spot you just want to stay on for a minute and massage. Feels so good. I like to say feels so good instead of hurts so good. It does. It just feels so good. So we're going to stay in the feel so good zone today. Keeping the breath flowing as we move through the practice. And I'm going to invite you this week, we are focusing on Ujjayi breath. So I'm going to invite you to use the Ujjayi breath. And if you remember, we can go the other way in our rocks. One of the ways we find out how to do our Ujjayi breath is we can fog a mirror. And then trying to do that with the mouth closed. So there's an ocean sound in that really just you hear. Someone else might hear it slightly, but it's more for you, and it's a focus. It's also calming. And the Ujjayi breath is kind of interesting because it can be calming, it can be energizing, it can be balancing. It can be either one depending on how you're breathing. If you're breathing nice, long, slow, deep Ujjayi breaths, that can be very calming to hear that ocean sound inside yourself. If you're breathing faster, it can be a little energizing. And if you're just breathing normal, it can be nice and balancing. Beautiful. Let's move into some cat-cows as we arch the back and open the chest into our cow. And then we're going to round the back and we're going to look in towards our thighs and our belly for our cat. Just moving into some cat-cows. Inhaling into your cow and exhaling into your cat. That Ujjayi breath if you can. Just an invitation. It brings you more present. You hear this sound and it brings you more present into the moment. Helps clear the distractions of the mind. And today we're focusing on presence. And it's always nice to focus on presence when you're in a yin asana because we take our time with the yin asana. And you can never be in a hurry and be present at the same time. And coming back to center. Let's bring those feet together in Baddha Konasana or butterfly. Bring the hands around the feet. You can open those feet up a little like a book if you like. And let's begin just flapping those butterfly wings. Moving, feeling that hip joint kind of waking up and being really very present to the sensations in the body, present to this moment, present to any sounds that are around you. Just being here now. Here you are, human being, doing yoga on a mat. Slowing those wings down, And then let's take those legs and those knees and press them down towards the floor. Wherever you are in this pose is perfect. Honor your body. There's no competition here. And yoga is not about becoming a pretzel. Yoga is about allowing the mind to quiet so you can connect with the deeper self. So we're going to inhale as we lengthen and exhale, folding forward. Yoga was around. Raja Yoga was our beginnings of yoga. It was around for thousands of years. And Hatha was one of the last of poses and the exercises. And it was created, the yogi masters and teachers created as a way to help their students get in their bodies so that they could quiet their minds for meditation. So it was kind of a means to an end. So the goal is always to become present and quiet inside. So hinging forward, feeling that edge, and let's just breathe that Ujjayi breath in this nice forward fold. Allowing yourself to be fully present to sensations in this moment. You can then gently engage that Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, Jalandhara Bandha. Those are our three bandhas. Engaging the pelvic floor, the abdomen, tongue is on the roof of the mouth. And your next Ujjayi inhale, we're going to come up. Beautiful job. Let's bring those feet out in front of us. Let's flap those legs a little bit. Windshield wiper the feet. Waking up the body. Be more fully present in the body. And let's take that left leg and bring that up to, so the foot is resting on the inner thigh of the right leg. We're going to go into single leg forward fold. So we're going to inhale as we lengthen the spine and then exhale, hinging at that hip. So we're hinging at the hip. We're not moving the spine yet. We're not moving, rounding anything. And find that edge in taking a few breaths here and inviting you to flex or extend that front foot to notice some more sensation. Using that Ujjayi breath for a couple breaths right here. Fully present to sensation in your body. These legs. And on your next exhale, let's see if you can hinge a little bit deeper first in the hip. Seeing how just holding it there, how much deeper you can hinge by staying on that edge. And then allowing the spine to round and bringing the head towards the knee. And if you can reach that foot, massaging that foot. And being very present to massage. Present to the sensation in your foot. Feel of your toes. My toes are a little cold. Just really be present. Noticing if the knee wants to micro bend a little bit. Noticing the sensations. Just doing this massage is a very conscious movement, a conscious act where your awareness is fully present. You're not just massaging your foot, but thinking of 1,000 other things. Right here, all the thought is of massaging the foot, or maybe you're massaging your calf or your ankle. Never feels right. And flexing and extending that foot. And taking a few deep breaths here as you just bask in the present moment, going inward. Forward folds are inward poses. Using that Ujjayi breath. And gently and kindly coming up to a seated position again. And we're going to switch the legs. You're going to bring that left leg out straight, and the right leg is going to bend in, the right foot resting on the left inner thigh. And we're going to inhale as we lengthen the spine, and exhale, hinging forward. And again, hinge forward till you find that edge where your hips say, your back leg muscles say, that's good, that's my edge, that's a 7, that's all right. And just rest here for a few Ujjayi breaths. Fully present to sensations, to yourself here on the mat. And see now if you can hinge a little bit deeper in that hip joint. A little bit deeper. You're still not rounding the back yet. When you get to that edge again, allow the spine to round. Bring yourself back. Massage that foot or that calf. And remembering to do that with full awareness, full presence. Only be there for your foot. And doing what feels good for you. What does your foot want? How does it want to be massaged? You know better than anybody. So giving yourself that. And becoming aware you have a foot. We practice this sacred embodiment. A little more every day. We're a little more embodied. A little more present to the body. A little more in love with the body. In love with the body unconditionally. And taking a moment now to just rest in this deep forward fold with your Ujjayi breaths, fully present to yourself. Fully compassionate and there for yourself. Friendliness towards the self. Beautiful job. And gently and kindly coming up. And we're going to bring both legs out and go into, first we're going to go into a forward fold straight on, and then we're going to move over to each leg because we get different muscles stretching and different sensations in doing that all. So let's Inhale, lengthening the spine. Exhaling, folding forward. And find your edge. And then I invite you to take a nice deep breath here. You can engage those bandhas. Nice deep Ujjayi breath. See if you can hinge a little deeper now. And then bringing yourself to the floor or a block. You can come down to a block. Your block can be any way you wish, or you can just come right down to the floor. And round the back and taking some breaths here. And again, feeling that friendliness towards yourself, that full presence. You can flex and extend the feet if you like for new sensations. Fully here now with yourself. Beautiful. And I'm going to invite you to walk over to either side, whatever feels right, and just sink into a nice deep twist over to this side. Again, you can flex and extend that foot for new sensations. And just sinking deeply and holding this with the Ujjayi breath, bringing that present moment love towards your own self, your own body, your own being, all aspects of yourself. Beautiful job. And we're going to move over to the other side. And hinging nice and deep here, forward fold. And again, taking a few nice, slow, deep breaths, fully present to the body and sensation. As you rest in this nice, deep forward fold. Using that Ujjayi breath if you can. And gently and kindly coming up. Beautiful job. You can bring those legs together and flop them again. And windshield wiper the feet. Shake those legs out a little bit. Enjoy releasing any tension there. Beautiful job. And let's come up onto our knees. We did the Uddankasana, the frog, yesterday, and I had some requests to do it again. So we're going to do, there's two different frogs, and the first one we're going to do is we're going to be sitting up on our calves, and we're going to take the thumbs and bring them in towards the palms and bring those fingers around the thumbs, and then bring those fingers in towards the belly, and there's a little gentle engagement pressing into the belly, just gentle, never any pain. And then we take an inhale as we lengthen up, and exhale, hinging forward. Find your edge for your hinge. And you can bring your head down to a block if you like, or just come down. And taking a few breaths here. Really good for digestion, massages the internal organs. See if you can use that Ujjayi breath and become fully present. One more breath here. And then gently and kindly coming up. Beautiful job. So we've been focusing this week on Ujjayi. We've been focusing a little more on hip openers. So I thought we would do the frog again. Muddankasana, the second form of frog. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up onto your knees. You come into table first if you like. And then take those knees and bring them out as far as your flexibility allows. So find a, feel so good level for yourself. And then you're going to take the feet, and they're going to come wider than the legs, and the feet are going to flex out. So your calves and shins are a little wider than the knees, and the feet are flexed out. And now here's the part that really opens the hips. We're going to hinge the body back towards the feet. And just find your edge. You may only go a quarter of an inch back. Find what works for you. We're just going to rest here for a couple breaths. Using that Ujjayi breath if you can. And one more nice deep breath here. Beautiful. We're going to come out the same way we came. Release the feet, bring those shins in, and then take those knees back up together in table pose. And let's move into a child's pose and relax for a moment, taking a few deep breaths. You can open the knees, let the belly and the chest rest in between the knees, and just breathe your Ujjayi breath and be fully present, fully compassionate and loving with yourself. And coming back up nice and gently. And we're going to come to the front of the mat and move into our spinal rocks, coming down onto our backs. You can bring the hands behind the knees and just take gentle rock. Remembering if you don't have enough cushion, just come down onto your back. Just feeling that nice massage on the kidneys, those erector spinae muscles alongside your spinal column. Get a nice massage, and then eventually coming down onto your back. And you have your pillow or your block. We're going to move into a nice little supported bridge. So we're going to lift up those hips and bringing a pillow or a block just right under that sacrum. So whatever feels better or works better for you. That's feeling better for me today. So we're just going to rest a few breaths here in this nice supported bridge. Diving deeply into the self, fully present to sensations and fully present to the aliveness within you, the conscious awareness that you are. This awareness that is eternal, deeper, the deeper self that lives before the body, after the body, before the bodies, after the body. And taking one more breath here. And releasing that block or that cushion. And let's bring those knees into the chest and hug those knees into the chest and rocking back and forth, releasing and relaxing that lower back. Let's bring those legs straight up, flexing and extending the feet. Let's grab the hamstrings and let's pull those legs in towards the body. You may want to come up towards the calves or even a deeper stretch. Just holding this with a few Ujjayi breaths, fully present to all these sensations, mindful and aware. You can engage those bandhas if you like, using the Ujjayi breath. And releasing the legs, bringing the feet so they're flat on the floor, the knees are up. And we're going to take that right leg and we're going to lift it up and rest the right ankle right up, right below the, above the left knee. So we're just resting it gently on the knee there on the left side. And then lift that left foot off the floor, bring that left leg toward the body and clasp those hands behind the left thighs, resting on the hamstring, but you're just below the knee there. And then we're going to gently pull that leg in towards the body, feeling a nice hip opener on the right hip. And you can engage those bandhas and find your edge here. Just moving into your Ujjayi breath, fully present to sensations, fully aware, and feeling that friendliness towards yourself, that love and acceptance. One more breath. And releasing that leg down nice and slowly. We're going to move on to the other side. Switching to the other side, taking that left leg, resting the left ankle on the right leg. We're going to lift that right leg up, clasping those hands right behind the right hamstring, and gently bringing that right leg towards the body and finding your edge. When you find your edge, you can engage those bandhas and bring in that Ujjayi breath. And practicing presence, being that witness to sensations, to your own self. The mind wanders off into thought. Bring it back to the moment, to sensations, to the breath. Be here now with yourself. In one more breath. And releasing that leg down. Beautiful job. And let's bring both knees into the chest and rocking back and forth, releasing and relaxing that lower back. And let's keep that right knee in towards the chest, moving that over beyond the ribs and more towards that right armpit pit. And then take the left leg and lengthen it straight out towards the mat. Left leg is going to be pressing in towards the earth as you gently hug that right knee in towards that right armpit. So you're going to feel two lines of energy in different directions simultaneously, engaging those bandhas, and use that Ujjayi breath, fully focused on the sensation. Be here now with yourself, all your attention on yourself and your this present moment experience. Continue to engage those two lines of energy, the leg extended, pressing down towards the earth, the bent knee coming in towards the armpit. And releasing that knee, let's switch legs, straighten out that right leg, feeling that right thigh pressing down towards the earth, and moving that left knee bent and out away from the ribs and pressing that in towards the left armpit. Feel those two simultaneous lines of energy in opposite directions. Fully present to this now moment, all your attention here now as you breathe the Ujjayi breath, engaging those bandhas and building the energy inside your being. fully engaged in the sensation. And one more breath here. Beautiful. And let's bring both knees into the chest again. Let's rock back and forth. And let's bring a hold of the outsides of the feet. And before we move into Happy Baby, let's see if we can straighten those legs as much as you can. If you can't, have as much bend on the knees as possible as you need. And just open up and rock back and forth with your legs straight. You're as straight as feels good for you. Find that edge. Never forcing. Wherever you're at is good. Rocking back and forth and noticing that sensation, that opening. Keeping the breath flowing. And take a moment in stillness and just hold that. See if maybe you can straighten the legs just a tiny bit more. Fully present to sensation. Allowing that energy field within you to expand. And let's take the feet together now in Baddha Konasana, upside down, and you can rock back and forth a little and then just stop and just hug those feet in towards the body, feeling that nice stretch. Engage those bandhas and breathe with your Ujjayi. Fully present. The mind wanders off, just bring it back to here and now. Beautiful. And opening up those legs. Knees are aligned with the armpits. Feet are facing up towards the earth. And gently pulling those legs in towards the armpit. Knees are coming in towards the armpit. And finding your edge here. Never forcing. This is a nice hip opener. Engaging those bandhas, and let's bring in the Ujjayi breath. Beautiful. And releasing those legs, let's bring them up again. And bring them in up towards the body. And rock back and forth a little bit. You can move into Happy Baby if you like, just kicking around and rolling around and enjoying moving and flowing in your body. Fully present, enjoying those sensations. And we're going to move into our releases next. If there's any other pose, let's do one more pose together. We have time. Let's move into our fish, our last pose together before releases. And so we're going to have both hands flat on the mat, face down, the feet are on the mat, knees are up. And we're going to bring those hands under the buttocks. Lift that pelvis and just rest the buttocks on both hands. You can bring those elbows in towards the body a little more snug. So they're snug up towards the body. Pressing into those elbows, we're going to lift the chest and the head, and then allow the head to drop gently. And then as you come down, allow your head to rest on the mat, the crown of your head. Chest is open. This is a back bend for the upper body. And let's engage those bandhas and breathe. You can breathe with that ujjayi if you like. One more breath. And pressing into those elbows, lifting the head, straightening out the spine, and come down nice and gently onto your back. And I invite you to bring those knees into the chest for a nice little counter pose, rocking back and forth. It's a nice back bend. We always like to do a little counter pose to release that lower back. And then releasing the feet so they're flat on the mat, knees are up, feet are hip width apart, and move into our releases. So let's move into our hula. We're going to be bringing one hip up towards the armpit, opposite hip is dropping down towards the heel. And then we're going to swivel the opposite direction, and the opposite hip up towards the armpit. And while the other drops down towards the heel. The sacrum is flat on the mat. We're not lifting up off the earth at all. We're just swiveling back and forth as we release and relax that pelvis, that lower back, hips. These are nice, slow, repetitive movements. Fully present, engaged, alert to this moment, moving your body, experiencing this form of self-love for yourself. Keeping that breath flowing, and then coming back to center. We move into our hip pointers. So I'm going to take this left hip and I'm going to point it up towards the sky. That left butt cheek is going to lift up off the mat just a little. Right butt cheek and hip is grounded in the mat into the earth. And I'm going to go to the other side. So I'll take that right hip, that point, it's pointing diagonally up towards the heavens. That butt cheek lifts up off the mat. The other butt cheek is rooted into the earth. So just moving back and forth, this gentle movement, adding a little tiny bit of a twist into the back. Nice and slow. Keeping that breath flowing. Fully engaged here now in all the sensations in the body. Finding your rhythm. Feeling a sense of gratitude to be able to move, become more and more embodied in this sacred temple. And coming back to center, and we're going to move into cat-cow on our back. So we're going to, and we move into our cat, we're going to press the small of the back into the mat, tailbone is tucked up. And then as we move into our cow, we're going to arch that spine, that lower back up off the mat. Whether our back stays on the mat or not, the spine is arching up off the mat. Tailbone is sticking out. And just flowing back and forth nice and slowly in your cat-cow, flexion and extension of the spine. Engaging those bandhas and bringing in the breath, fully present and engaged to all the sensations in this moment. And coming back to center. And let's flop both knees over to the side. And you can either begin to windshield wiper those knees side to side nice and slowly. Or if you'd like to take that, flopping them both over to the side, taking the top leg up and bringing that slowly over to one side and allowing the bottom leg to follow. They're both over the side again. Whichever feels right for you this morning, or this afternoon, or this evening. Nice slow movements. You might want to do a little of both. Noticing all those beautiful sensations in this twist. And coming back to center, knees are up, feet are flat on the mat, and you're going to walk those feet out to the wide edges of the mat. Knees are still up. And let's drop one knee at a time in towards the center. And finding your edge here, how far you drop that knee down. Never forcing. Keeping that breath flowing. Fully engaged and alert. All that is happening here now. In your body. In your energy field. And coming back to center. Let's bring those feet together. Let's bring those knees into the chest. And last little hug and release of the lower back. I invite you to, if you like, to bring the legs up on the wall for Savasana, or you can just move into your normal Savasana pose. Bringing the legs up into the wall, you're going to scoot your buttocks right up close to the wall, as close as you can get. And just bring those legs up the wall. This gives the legs a nice rest. Those veins have a vacation. It's really good for the legs, especially if you're someone who stands on your legs all day. This is a great way to move into Savasana. So I invite you now to just let everything go. Let your body sink into the earth. Just releasing everything and surrendering into the earth. It's time to integrate all the poses, all the stretching. Move into silence. And beginning to come back, taking a nice deep breath into the lower belly. Continuing to breathe into that lower belly. Beginning to wiggle the fingers and the toes, coming back. Stretching out the arms and legs. And rolling over to one side, whichever side feels good for you. Taking a nice breath here on your side. And coming up to a seated position. And taking this moment now to bring yourself back to that intention that you set, beginning the practice. And go within and scan the body one more time, noticing how it feels to be you from the inside. Maybe noticing even any changes from when you checked in before practice. Maybe you feel a little more spacious inside, a little more calm. I'm going to close with a namaste. I honor the place in you in which the entire universe dwells. I honor the place in you which is of love, of light, of truth, and of peace. When I am in that place in me, and you are in that place in you, we are one. Namaste. And please join me. I will be right back with a half-hour pranayama practice if you'd like to join. It will be a balancing pranayama. Thank you.